Hey there, true believers. You're tuned into Baxter Building Radio via the Negative Zone feed, and welcome to episode 22 of the Fantastic Four Fancast. As always, I'm your host, Nate Charles, and I'm joined by my co-host. His name's Shane Murray. How's it going tonight,
How you
Shane?
doing tonight? I'm doing all right. How you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. Little
How's your week
change.
been?
It's kind of nice you asking me first how I'm doing tonight. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Someone cares.
But anyway, how's your week, bud?
Week's been going good. Got to read through all my comics from our expedition last week. Really good
Yeah,
stuff. Read a couple mini series, and I
we had
don't even
fun
remember.
last Friday, right? We played some Marvel United.
You did play some Marvel United, you, me, and Liam, yes. So that was good.
We left on.
Everything's like,
We,
that's the downfall about working overnights is like everything just becomes a blur because you're swapping back and forth on your sleep schedule. So for me, it's just like it feels like it was a million years ago. But yeah,
no, it wasn't even a week ago.
yeah, no, we did have a lot of fun playing Marvel United. You, me, and Liam, and then Aaron joined us, and yeah, it's a good time. So if anybody hasn't
Yeah,
played Marvel
Reds.
United, I highly recommend it.
Don't go against Red Skull though, because he can be kind of a meanie head.
Oh, you just need to know how to pick your spots with Red Skull. How about you, buddy? What have you been getting into?
I'm still working through that. I'm almost 100% through the backlog. I've completely caught up on action. I've completely caught up on Superman, Supergirl, and I'm caught up on Fantastic Four finally.
You reading One World
So
Under Doom?
I did not read One World Under Doom.
Uh, Currently, I mean, that's the probably the big news item right now
They're
is that penultimate issue where I don't really want to spoil it on here, but oof, a little rough going for quite a bit of the Fantastic Four at this point. So
Yeah, I have to catch up on the thing yet, Hulk, and then everything else is just stuff I'm reading, like
that Thing
Turtles.
miniseries was so good. It was one of my favorite books that I was reading. The wrap up on that, just solid stuff. I heard people complaining that like, oh, the nothing of substance happened. I mean, it's a Ben Grimm story with roots back on Yancey Street. To me, honestly, it feels like a solid mix of John Byrne's Fantastic Four and Frank Miller's Daredevil. So two things that are right up my alley. Yeah. Anybody who hasn't read that recent Thing series written by Tony Fleece really should. It's good stuff.
All right, we want to get into this issue? This is kind of a longer one, being a Lee and Kirby issue.
Yeah, man. Look at you taking charge this week. Jeez.
I'm,
You got
I'm trying to
someplace to
help you out,
be?
bud. No, I'm trying to help you out.
But yeah, we could definitely go into this week's issue, which
I'm
is
sorry.
it's all right, man. No, it's cool. It's cool, man. This is like, I'm the little spoon this week. It's great. Um
All about that. You still better have your voices ready. We don't need no high pitched Sue going on over here.
Really, because I always thought
Sue,
I could go for higher pitches with Sue. It's just not physically
Sue would have
possible for
like
me.
Sue would break people's eardrums as I'm talking in falsetto.
So yeah, this week we are covering Fantastic Four, Volume 1, Number 7. Cover dated for October of 1962. The release date, however, was July 3rd of 1962, with a cover price of 12 cents. Shane, I went on to pricecharting.com and I looked up our normal values, one for a graded 9.8 and another for ungraded copy. You want to go ahead and give a guess on what a graded 9.8 copy of this is sold for?
495.97.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Higher.
Higher?
Hmm.
For real? Oh
Yeah.
man. 1200.
I'll give you one final guess, and I'm going to say higher.
And it's hot. No way. 10K.
10,000?
Yeah.
You wearing your brown pants?
I am actually wearing brown pants right now.
It's good. So this book is sold for $21,097.98 in a graded 9.8 condition.
I feel like we had this conversation.
We've
There's no
we've had
reason
this conversation a couple times.
there's no reason to spend that on one book, especially if you're gonna have it in a thing and never read it. What's like that one really hurts. 20. Okay.
All right. Well, how about the ungraded copy? Maybe this one won't hurt you as
I'm gonna
much.
go with my 497.95 on the ungraded copy, seeing that the other one went for almost 22.
Well, by Price is Right rules, you're screwed.
Good.
$146.95.
That is practical. I'm okay with that. That's a good number. I'm sure the cover's falling off that. It might need restapled, but
It
that's
might
a
not
better
have a cover.
price. Oh, that's fair.
Today's story is written by Stan Lee and penciled by Jack Kirby with inks by Dick Ayers. Colorist was Stan Goldberg, letterer was Artie Simic, and Stan Lee was editor and editor-in-chief as well. Shane, I'm going to need to ask you a favor, and I'm going
What's
to need
up?
one of those famous Shaneopsis from you because Marvel Unlimited does not have a synopsis for us this week.
For real, on a Jack and Stan cover book? That's a shock. All right, so with Planet X under sheer threat of destruction, there's only one family that can save them, and it's the Fantastic Four from the planet Earth. And will they save the day or will they doom the Planet X?
Okay. A lot of suspense in that one,
So
Shane.
there is, it was uniform at least.
That's one way of putting it. All right. You want to go ahead and take us through the cover of Fantastic Four, Volume 1, Issue 7.
Yeah. So you start off with the world's greatest comic magazine at the top. Fantastic Four right there at the top. Nice blue background rolling into the outer space or Kirby Crackle there with a UFO having a beam down onto the I would call it New York. And you get a big poster that says wanted dead or alive. Mr. Fantastic, Human Torch, The Thing, Invisible Girl. There's some speech bubbles in there and there is a caption that reads, "Why does the human race turn against the Fantastic Four? Only the master of Planet X knows the answer."
And one of the four, we're going to assume it's Reed, has a speech bubble coming from the flying saucer that says, "We escaped just in time. We can't remain on Earth any longer. We've got to head for Planet X." Meanwhile, the crowd that's at the base of the cover, which has torches and clubs but no pitchforks, one person yells, "Down with the Fantastic Four!" Probably a whole lot more convincingly than I yelled it just now.
It's a cool cover. I don't know about $22,000 worth of cover, but it's a cool cover.
You know what this cover actually reminds me of?
What
The cover to Uncanny X-Men number 141.
did they do an homage to this?
It's no, I wouldn't say it's necessarily an homage, but that's the first issue of Days of Future Past, where
Mm,
it's
that's a
Wolverine and
good
Kitty
cover.
Pryde in front of that wanted poster, which has,
Yeah,
the
yeah. I
uh,
know that cover. I know that cover well. I just didn't
man.
know the issue number.
I'm wondering if that's where John Byrne took some inspiration from.
Going back to this cover, you start to see the thing start getting the rock definition in his face. Not so alligator-like. I really like that.
It is a little bit more of an involved look for the thing.
Yeah, I didn't know if you caught that or not, but yeah,
No, I had
because
not. That's a good call out.
it doesn't stay in the book, but it definitely is on the cover. So he's definitely thinking of changing the way the thing looks somewhere in this. I don't know exactly when it like gets more rocky.
I want to say
Do you know
around
that
issue
issue?
10. give or take an issue, but I feel
Well,
it's
that makes about sense then. This is issue 7 for him to start the redesign and get a more defined look for the thing.
you know who I think has been in
Uh,
desperate need of a redesign though is Sue's hairstyle. I don't like the way that Sue looks on this cover. I just don't.
I think her head is small. I think it's disproportionate to the hair. I think it was just one of them oopsies, as we like to call them. That man penciled a lot of stuff. Once in a while, something weird was going through.
That's true. I mean, remember we did talk what was it back in episode 4 when we covered Fantastic Four Volume 1 number 3 that the torch on that cover has, I believe, two right hands, maybe two left
Yeah,
hands. Regardless, it was one or the other. So, yeah, I mean, he was very prolific and very fast, and sometimes with that speed comes a mistake or two. Even the king can make mistakes.
I think that it's her head's down, like her forehead's just a little bit further down in frame, or and then it just makes that top of it just look. It almost looks like it was digitally put on. That's like how awkward it is. So, all right, you want to get inside the book?
Sure, Shane, I can do that.
Well, I wasn't sure.
You're on point something fierce this week.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize. So we open up to the first page of this, and we are greeted by a banner that reads The Fantastic Four in Prisoners of Kurrgo, Master of Planet X, Part 1. And what is the title of Part 1, Shane?
It came from the skies.
And we're greeted with I guess you could call it almost a half splash. And what are we seeing here?
We're seeing Kurrgo watching the Fantastic Four through his secret spy camera that he has in there in the Baxter building somehow. Because why not?
Now, you say we see Kurrgo. I mean, I feel like there's a lot to take in with Kurrgo here. So, how about you?
Oh yeah. I mean, also the fact that he's lounging. He's got like a table that has like a spinny. It's like a floating chair. Looks like uh it looks like the one thing is projecting the image onto the screen that he's looking at. The coming down from the left-hand side there, the way it has the triangle pointing out. And then you have just that spinny, almost like you would see on like someone's fancy dinner table where they could have multiple dishes and they can spin it around and everyone can reach to whatever side they want. This man's got some snacks. He has all of the charcuterie for his studying of the Fantastic Four.
But what does Kurrgo himself look like?
Well, Kurrgo has a giant circle head with a real small face that looks like he smelt the worst pile of dog poop ever. Those little tiny eyes and face and so sad. I don't it's so scrunched up.
You're not wrong.
So there yeah. And then behind him you have one of his robots that are just waiting for him to give him order and he's got some I guess Planet X foliage there in the foreground.
It just amazes me because, like, yes, he has the giant head and the scrunched up face, but I mean, you've completely overlooked his fashion sense here with the ridiculous turtleneck. It's a brown turtleneck on a green long sleeve shirt, and he's wearing tiny brown shorts on the outside of it with a belt that has like a diamond for a buckle. And he has brown boots and gloves that look like they look like the gloves and boots that Black Panther wears, except like I said, they're brown instead of black. Like this guy looks ridiculous.
This guy is absolutely crazy. I thought the fact that I stopped at the fact that his face looked like it was a scrunched up guy smelling poop was all I had to stop at. Because I figured we didn't need to make him look any more bad. This guy just looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I to be fair, with Shane's lack of description and my filling in of the blanks here, still you really do need to find some way to read this issue and see it for yourself because we're not doing it justice even with that.
I mean, I want to know what the circles on the front of the pants are for. That's a style. That's a style choice right there, buddy.
Yeah,
Why aren't they just solid green?
I couldn't tell you. You'd have to have asked Jack Kirby. Kurgo, during his viewing of the Fantastic Four, says, "Ha! Little do the Earthlings suspect that I, Kurgo, master of Planet X, many light years away from their primitive Earth, have been monitoring their actions for weeks." And he gets up and begins skulking down the halls of his palace. "In every way, we of Planet X are the Earthling superiors. We are a far older race, a far wiser one. Our science is 1,000 years more advanced than theirs. So what a pity it is that they will survive while we will soon perish when that runaway asteroid collides with our luckless planet." And another of Kurgo's species comes in. "Oh, Kurgo, my lord, if only we had enough spaceships to enable us to flee our planet before the Holocaust." "Fool, you know we only have two spaceships on Planet X, for we have never cared for space travel. But one of those ships is even now blazing towards Earth, towards the only four creatures in all the universe who might find a way to save us. Piloted by my own personal robot, the ship must land on Earth and capture the Fantastic Four. Then they are to be brought to Planet X as my prisoners." So, Shane, this is uh this is a planet that is far wiser than ours, and their science is 1,000 years more advanced than ours, and yet they need four Earthlings to come save them.
Specifically, they need one, but they decided
Specifically,
that
they
they
need Reed
needed.
Richards, but yes, I but still, what?
Yeah, when I first read this, I was like, "This is wild. Why they couldn't figure it out? They needed Reed."
Honestly, I
So
just feel like Kurgo's lying to himself.
I think he's just lazy. He's clearly just trying to chill out and get fed grapes and drink wine all day.
Meanwhile, countless light years away, little dreaming of the adventure fate has in store for them, we find the Fantastic Four in their skyscraper headquarters. Shane, go ahead and take us through what's going on here.
All right, so Reed is just got a letter immediately from the government. This thing is like a telegram, and they apparently don't have much time because they need to go to Washington right away to accept a dinner in their honor. And all of them are terrified of this idea, except for, of course, Dr. Richards. He thinks
We,
that they have to go to this dinner.
we haven't much time. We're due to appear in Washington later to attend the government dinner in our honor. Who needs it, Reed? I'm not even hungry. Such short notice. I haven't got a thing to wear. Bah, it's just a waste of time. I ain't going. And Johnny gets in his head about this. The thing's right, Reed. Heck, we're no speech makers. Imagine what would happen if I have to try to say something clever. That reminds me of a joke I heard about two beatniks. Maybe you already heard it. I'd probably get all tense and nervous, and the next thing we know, it would be just my luck to burst into flame. And we see Johnny flame on at the podium and scare all of these congressmen. To which Reed responds, "That's foolish and you know it, Torch. Now, does anyone else have a beef?" "You bet. Can you imagine how I'd look in front of all those congressmen at a big state dinner? They'd think I was nutty if I kept all bundled up, but I'd scare 'em to death if I took off my hat and coat. And then what if those wise guy photographers try for some pictures of me?" And the photographer, in Ben's mind, rips away his scarf and hat. "How about a shot of you with the senator thing? What's the big idea? Good heavens, what an ogre! You know my temper. In a couple of seconds, I'd start tearing the joint apart, and I'm just the guy to do it, too. No siree, I don't want any part of that fancy pants dinner. How about you, Sue?" "Oh, Reed, I'm afraid to go. I'm not used to meeting all those important people. And we see Sue meeting an ambassador and maybe her husband, maybe a congressman who's making an introduction. My dear, say hello to Madam Ambassador. Charmed, I'm sure. I'm liable to get so flustered that before I know it, I might vanish in front of their eyes. If that ever happened, I'd simply die of embarrassment. And we see Sue pop out of visibility while the ambassador falls forward and is lucky that the man that was making the introductions catches her.
Yeah.
All right. I've heard all your silly little excuses, and I'm sure you feel better now that you've said them. So let's start getting ready now, and let's end all this nonsense. You know we can't refuse a request from Congress. Now go get dressed, Torch. And Johnny begins to walk away. Ben says, do you have to do everything he tells you, Squirt? Sure, I'm not a stubborn ox like some guys I know. And Johnny is singing to himself in the shower as Ben reaches in and adjusts the water temperature on him. Call me a stubborn ox, Willie. I'll teach that flaming fool. Hey, who's the wise guy? And Johnny flames on and causes a massive amount of steam to be dispersed throughout the rest of the Baxter building. What's the matter, hothead? Did I make things too warm for you?
Can you imagine how much steam that would be and how hot that would be? I just want you to imagine, like, you'd be like in the worst sauna of all time.
Oh, you're not wrong. Meanwhile, unaware of the thing's hasty action, Sue and Reed are just completely enveloped in this steam. Reed, what's wrong? I don't know, Sue. Can't be a fire. This whole building's fireproof. I'd better slither in there and check the ventilating units. And Reed goes and elastics himself inside the ventilation system. That's funny. Everything's in perfect working order. Listen, Reed. That's shouting. Sounds like the torch. And the thing isn't here. I should have guessed. Johnny has pulled himself out of the shower and put him on a robe. Think you're pretty clever, don't you? I oughta. Oh, clam up. I just wanted to start a little ruckus so I wouldn't have to go to the blamed dinner. Things, stop feeling sorry for yourself. How do you think I feel? I'm in the middle of a new rocket fuel experiment, which is almost reaching fruition, and I've got to interrupt it also. Big deal. We already got rocket fuel, haven't we? But let's leave the Fantastic Four to their bickering for a moment and watch a new strange form enter Earth's atmosphere, the form of a starship from outer space. And, at the very instant that we notice it, one of America's new Eye in the Sky satellites also flashes the word to command headquarters below. And we see an Air Force radar station, I guess is what we'd refer to it as. The CEO there says, what is it? An attack by the Reds? No Earth nation ever built a ship like that. It sounds incredible, but it can only come from outer space. Minutes later, atop a New York skyscraper, we see the four have piled into the Fantastic car and are readying for takeoff. Reed says, come on, thing, cheer up. You might even enjoy the dinner. Sure, sure. I just love to have people gaping at me and laughing behind my back. And he looks up in the sky. Hey, what's that? It's something in the sky. Sounds like a new type of jet. Where? I don't see anything. Over there. Wow, look at her go. Must be a new missile test. And the Fantastic car takes off and is flying over the countryside headed for DC when Reed says, well, we've got no time for rubbernecking. We're due in Washington now. We've got an audience below. And we see a convertible down below, the driver of which yells, look, it's the Fantastic Four in their Fantastic car. I'd like to trade places with them. They don't have to go to a dull dinner. Meanwhile, the ship from Planet X continues on its course, blazing through a squadron of jet interceptors as though they were standing still, until it comes to a rest in a lonely valley unseen by human eyes. As the mighty robot of Kurrgo dismounts, bent upon his faithful mission. What does Kurgo's robot look like here, Shane?
Like a small version of the Iron Giant while holding a giant, almost looks like a water rod that he ends up using as like a finder to find the Fantastic Four. All silver, shiny. He's interesting. He's got a weird face
It's
with
like
like
he
the metal slats for eyes.
it's like he has a vent on his face.
Yeah.
I have reached my destination. Now to use my atomic scanner to locate the four who must become my prisoners. Suddenly, a strange ray of indescribable energy pours forth from the unworldly device, a ray which curls about like a living thing, as though trying to decide which direction to take. And then, guided by a science far in advance of our own, the alien beam streaks to the north, unerringly locating its human objective. And it envelops the Fantasticar. Hey, I suddenly got a strange feeling, like someone or something is watching me. That's funny. I feel that way too. So do I. And so, under the eyes of the strange scanner ray, the Fantastic Four rocket to Washington and the start of the most astonishing adventure of all time. There's the Capitol. Something tells me we should have stayed home like I wanted to do. And we turn the page to part two, which is titled What, Shane?
Outlawed.
And what are we seeing here?
So we're seeing the Fantastic Four at this obviously this dinner that they've been invited to in front of a bunch of congressmen and getting about to be presented a like a participation trophy for helping out.
How do you know it's a participation trophy?
I said it's a participation trophy. I didn't say what it was.
Yeah, but a participation trophy is something that you get for doing nothing, basically. You get it for being present, basically.
I mean, so far they've mostly been present. They've mostly caused wanton terror and destruction so far that we've seen on the page anyway. That's all they've done.
I would disagree. I would say they've saved the day about six times over. Yes, they have caused a terrible amount of destruction doing so. I do agree, but there are a number of TV cameras and photographers as well here. Johnny says, "Well, I guess this isn't so bad, Reed. At least no one asked me to make a speech. I suppose these nerve-wracking ceremonies are the price we must pay for fame." Ben, however, is not really enjoying himself. Get that blasted camera out of my ear, Mac, or I'll wrap it around your fat head. And one of the congressmen hands a trophy to Reed. Mr. Fantastic, as leader of the Fantastic Four, will you accept this trophy as a symbol of the gratitude of your fellow countrymen? We are honored, sir. But even as the ceremony continues, the strange spaceship noiselessly rockets over the nation's capital at a speed so great that none can see it. Those I seek are directly below. It is now time to act. My master, the mighty Kurrgo, ordered me to activate the hostility ray as I fly over my quarry. And so, yeah, the robot activates this device and it makes a sound, Shane.
It's like a big hum sound.
Suddenly, from the unearthly starship, a strange piercing hum issues forth, blanketing the city with its eerie vibrations. No place in the nation's capital is safe from the subsonic hum. And we're showing a dining room in what I believe would be a Washington, D.C. apartment where a woman is serving dinner to her husband. Here's your dinner, darling. Thanks, honey. But what
Then
happens?
you get that hum hitting them from behind, and then the hum keeps going, and you get the wife to putting his dinner on top of his head. That looks like a nice ambrosia salad there with the pink.
Don't you honey me, you creep. Elsewhere in the city, the story is the same, and it appears a gentleman has fallen and another man is trying to assist him. Here, sir, let me help you up. Thank you, young man. You're very kind. But then what happens?
Another you get this nice and then the one that's getting picked up slugs the guy that helped him get off the ground.
Take your filthy hands off me, you crummy bum. And at the testimonial dinner for the Fantastic Four, one of the congressmen says, and now I'd like to say a few final words in praise of this wonderful patriotic foursome to whom our nation owes so much. Ben thinks, pour it on, bub. We can stand it as long as you can. But then,
Then we get a nice hum again, and he raises his hand and does his best J. Jonah Jameson impersonation.
and the congressman says, it's time the public awoke to the fact that the four of you are the worst menaces ever to threaten this land.
Yeah, and the
Suddenly,
two of them are so shocked that they have an exclamation point above their head.
Johnny's got his hand over his mouth. Reed's jaw practically hits the floor. Suddenly, before the astonished foursome know what has happened, the admiring crowd of well-wishers turns into a savage, hate-filled, rioting mob. Down with the Fantastic Four! Drive them out of the country! Everyone's gone mad. And, oh man, there's just candlesticks and upturned glasses, and someone threw a pie at Reed's head, but they missed.
They did.
And our fabulous foursome begins to beat a hasty retreat from this dinner party. Johnny says, Reed, what is it? What happened? I don't know, kid, but until we find out, we've got to run for safety. They acted as though they wanted to destroy us. I ain't much good at handshakes, but fighting, that's something I can understand. And these congressmen pour out of the room after them. There they go. Don't let them get away. After them. Call the police, the militia, get the Fantastic Four. And Johnny's had enough of this. He yells, Flame on! And begins flying towards the armed guard in Congress. Easy, boys. I don't want to hurt anybody, but let us pass or else it's going to get awful hot around here. We can't tackle them without asbestos suits. And more armed guards begin to converge on Reed and Sue. We're surrounded. Quick, Sue, turn invisible while I keep the troops busy. But how will you get away, Reed? Just watch me. And what does Reed do, Shane?
He grabs the chandelier and pulls himself up to the ceiling.
And all of those armed guards just collide with each other.
Yeah, you get a big oof as if they're all tackling each other.
Meanwhile, a couple of them still try to grab Sue, who's now invisible. She's over here. I got her. No, she's here. I got her. And they end up just face planting on the floor. Sorry, boys. Meanwhile, the thing runs in a different direction. Well, well, so they're after me, are they? Well, I ain't so hard to catch up to. All they have to do is lift this wall up like I'm doing and crawl behind it. And Ben kind of flips the wall back and then lets it fall back down behind him. And the guard comes up. He's gone. But but it's impossible. There's no way out of here. Ben thinks to himself. There is if you can lift up walls, mister. Minutes later, and what are we seeing here, Shane?
We're seeing the thing climb out from underneath a bus in the middle of the road. More people running with clubs pointing directly at the thing coming out from under, and you see the fantastic car rushing to try to pick the thing up so they can get out of DC as fast as possible.
Yeah, Ben is literally burst from underneath the street up under this bus. So more of that wanton destruction to your point.
But he didn't destroy the bus for this time, unlike that car last time where he burst up and then smashed the car right away.
That's true. He's making some progress here.
Yeah. Slow progress.
So as the Fantastic car speeds up, Johnny says, "We can't leave without the thing." There he is. I thought those three would never get here. Okay, Reed, here's your chance to be a hero. And Reed stretches out one of his arms for Ben to grab and pulls him up towards the Fantastic car. Attaboy, Rubber Man. This'll give those jokers something to talk about, but I'd still rather have stayed and flattened a few of them. And as the mystified foursome blaze toward their skyscraper headquarters, we see the flying saucer in pursuit of the Fantastic car. Good. I have smoked out my quarry. Now for the second part of Kurrgo's plan. Reed, look what's following us. A spaceship. I don't know what he's after, Reed, but we'll fasten our safety belts. Then he can show him that our Fantastic car can do things that they never dreamed of in outer space. All right. Are you all securely fastened? You bet, partner. Let her go. And Shane, take us through these seat belts on the Fantastic car.
All right, so they're like racing harnesses. So they're like a 5 point harness, and then just on top of that, just in case you might fall out because you know there's no roof on the Fantastic car, it has leg straps to strap your legs in to the chair also. This is a very interesting take. I mean, it sounds practical. I would have a straight up panic attack if I had to strap my legs flat. But I'm guessing it lets them do loop-de-loops and roundabouts.
Which we see in the following two panels. In a blaze of blinding speed, Mr. Fantastic puts his amazing jet ship through its paces. But no matter how intricate his maneuvers, the strange alien craft manages to duplicate his every move. It's no use. We can't shake him. Our only chance is to land on our own rooftop so we can fight him on our own home ground. I've got a hunch that there's some tie-in between that spaceship and the strange way that everyone's been acting. And the four touch down on the Baxter building, followed by the spaceship. You were right, Reed. He's following us down to the roof. The ship is bigger than I thought. It took a highly advanced science to build a craft like that. And then, before their startled eyes, the hatch opens and they find themselves confronted by the mighty metal behemoth. That robot looks a little different. Looks stockier than what it did originally.
Yeah, he gets bigger. There's definitely like a proportion thing that changes a couple times in this issue.
Heed my words, puny earthlings. I have traveled many light years to find you and bring you a message from Kurrgo, master of Planet X. And on the next page, we're greeted with part 3, which is titled
Bound for Planet X.
Behold, this is a scene on your Earth Street. Observe how the crowds are rioting. It is you they would seize. And he holds up a viewfinder, and of course, there below is another rioting crowd with clubs, and it looks like someone has a brick in there.
Yep. I'm assuming they're throwing bricks at the Baxter building at this point.
And Reed is just astounded by the device itself. A portable self-contained TV receiver. Amazing! Reed, this is no time to study new gadgets. What made society suddenly turn against us? And what are we going to do about it? Johnny looks over the edge of the building. Holy smoke, sis! There isn't much we can do. Look down there. They're trying to storm the building. Only one thing to do. We've got to get out of the country for a while. That will do you no good. No place on earth will be safe for you. No nation will offer you sanctuary. No matter where you go, no matter what continent you flee to, you will be hunted by your fellow humans as though you are for monsters. Men with chemical foam will render the human torch helpless. Eventually, a way will be found to confine Mr. Fantastic so that his powers to change shape will avail him nothing. As for the thing, even his vast power can be contained by the forces of harnessed electrical energy. And while a radioactive armband fastened to the invisible girl will make her presence always known, even though she cannot be seen by human eyes.
And you get a nice Geiger counter tick tack, tick tack, tick tack, tick tack, tick tack to show the fact she couldn't run away.
Yeah, plus you get to see the torch get doused with chemical foam. You get to see Reed trapped in a bubble. And of course, Ben is just surrounded by a wall of energy. Only I, the servant of Kurrgo, can offer you asylum. You will only be safe if you come with me. I don't trust him, Reed. I smell a rat. Doesn't look as though we have much of a choice, thing. We can't stay here. You didn't travel this vast distance just to help us. What's your purpose? You are wise, Earthling. I do have a purpose. When you reach Planet X, my master will request one favor of you. I guess that sounds fair enough. Follow me. There is not much time. The three of you are fools. He's leading us into a trap, but I'll have to tag along. I got a hunch you're gonna need me. Yeah, like a dog needs fleas. And the Fantastic Four follow the robot onto the spaceship. Within seconds, faster than the speed of light, the unearthly ship is bound for Planet X. Why did you do it, Reed? You know we could have figured something out to save us back on Earth. Why'd you follow that big hunk of tin? For the same reason that you came with us, thing. Curiosity. How could we have slept nights if we never learned why we're wanted on Planet X? It's too exciting a prospect to pass up. But perhaps when the Fantastic Four reach their strange destination, they'll wish they had passed this trip up. Perhaps. And we move along into part 4, Shane.
Yeah. 24 hours till zero.
Finally, after hours of voyaging through space, the whirling starship reaches Planet X. Then a hatch slowly opens, and before they know it, the Fantastic Quartet find themselves floating towards the surface, descending gently on an invisible beam of anti-gravity matter. And what are we seeing here?
We're seeing them float down and onto Planet X with which has these giantly tall buildings. I'm not quite sure if that yellow is supposed to be the beam because of the way it's proportioned, or if that's just the tallest building in the city.
I think it's the building.
But you see some of the okay, so then yeah, they're coming down in an invisible beam. That building is massive because you can see you can't even see like the ground underneath them. You see how small the other residents of Planet X are comparatively to the Fantastic Four.
And finally, we see everyone start to touch down on the ground. Wow, what a ride! Look out below! This anti-grav ray may be terrific, but I still prefer elevators. My mission is ended, Master. I have brought the Fantastic Four. And we see Kurrgo, who says, Good. So that's Kurrgo, the master of Planet X, eh? Puny looking shrimp, ain't he? Quiet thing. Why have you summoned us to your planet, Kurrgo? You shall learn the answer soon enough, Earthling. We of Planet X are your superiors in many ways. We have developed anti-gravity. We have learned the secret of star travel. But there is yet one problem we have not solved. And what is that? The problem of how to save our planet from total destruction. Already in the coastlands, the tides grow uncontrollably high, and we see tidal waves wash away coastline cities. Throughout our planet, the land is in a state of upheaval, as volcanoes and eruptions threaten our entire population. Driven by fear and panic, our people are turning against each other. Soon, nothing will be able to stop the riots. Nothing except the doom which is hurtling towards us. And Kurrgo brings them to a giant monitor. And what do we see on that monitor, Shane?
We see that giant asteroid that's streaking towards their planet. Though I believe he does call it a planet now, no longer an asteroid. So I'm assuming their science figured out that it's like a runaway planet.
There is our problem. A runaway planet streaking through the skies, about to strike Planet X. And if you, with all your wizardry and powers, cannot find a way to save us, then we will perish together. Reed, what can we do? There's no way to stop a racing planet. I knew we shouldn't have come, but nobody'd listen to me. We, we're all doomed. Wait, why can't everyone escape in spaceships? Because although we have the secret of space travel, we have never cared to visit other worlds, and so only two large ships have been built. What good are they when the population of Planet X is 5 billion inhabitants? Well, big brain, you got us into this. What do we do now? I don't know, Thing. This is no time for squabbling. We've all got to think. Think, my eye. Let's get that walking hunk of tin to take us back to Earth. Pronto. No, he is my servant. He takes orders from none but Kurrgo. Oh, yeah? Well, we'll see about that. And Ben begins to charge towards the robot. Fool, he is made of the strongest substance in the universe. And Ben just hits the robot square in the sternum to no effect. Ow! He he wasn't kidding. Suddenly, at a command from Kurrgo, the silent robot grasps the thing's aching arm and hurls him across the chamber, as though his foe were weightless. Even your strength is no match for those who have mastered gravity. Johnny comes to Ben's defense, however, and leaps into the air. Nobody does that to the thing. Nobody. Flame on! He begins to fly circles around this robot. Reach all you want to, Tin Man. You'll find that I'm too hot to handle. I'm going to do something I've always been afraid to try before. By increasing my flame to fever pitch, I can attain the greatest heat in the universe. I can match the fiery blaze of an exploding star, a supernova. No, Torch, no, don't do it. It's too much power. You won't be able to control it. Stop, Torch. It's no use, he can't even hear me. And Sue decides to put herself between the robot and everyone else, but I question her thought process here because she's invisible when she does so. Get back, all of you. I'll stop him. He'll have to stop when he sees me. So Shane, I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, you would think if she wanted the torch to stop sooner, she would maintain visibility while running over there.
I would have thought so. It just seemed a one way to actually make her use her powers in this issue. I think they were just trying to get everyone to show off one of their talents in this issue, and that was just the one way to show her off. Besides that little quick panel we had with her being afraid of the ambassador.
So Sue becomes visible. Torch, don't! Sue, no! I had a turn, can't hurt Sue! And Johnny veers off course and lands and flames off. Phew, that was a close one, kid. You almost blew us all up. Idiots! Don't waste precious minutes. Every second brings us closer to destruction. You must find a way to save Planet X in 24 hours. He's right. We cannot escape Planet X. And if we remain here, we'll perish with the other 5 billion inhabitants unless. But what can we do? We've only 24 hours. Reed, you're the greatest scientist on Earth, perhaps in the whole universe. You must think of something. All right, we've no other choice. Perhaps we can save the planet and ourselves. Oh, Reed, if only you could. He'll do it. If anyone can, Mr. Fantastic is the one. How about a little less talk and a little more action? But at that instant, look out, it's a shockwave. The planet is starting to break up.
Yeah, baroom as the glass shatters around them.
They look up into the sky and see what?
The planet is very close to impact now.
We've less time than we thought. Look, there's the runaway planet. I can actually see it getting closer. I care nothing for your worthless lives, nor for the lives of my subjects. But I am master of Planet X, and my people must be saved so that I can remain their master. Quick, where's your most modern lab? Here. Everything is at your disposal. All right, listen closely. I have an idea. This is what I shall need. And we move to part 5.
Yep, the end of Planet X.
With supplies hastily brought by Kurrgo's robots and the help of his superhuman partners, Mr. Fantastic undertakes the most dramatic race against time of his career as he frantically constructs one of the most astonishing devices of all time. And what are we seeing here, Shane?
Well, it looks like a rifle, but it's a giant tube that they are constructing to build whatever Reed's ideas are. But like the way that it looks like you're almost staring down a tank barrel.
And Reed is reaching out towards Johnny with a very extended arm. Hurry, Torch, I need that casting. Just another few seconds, Reed, and I'll have it all welded. While Ben is bringing up another piece from the back with it. It's gigantic and he has it lifted over his head. Hey, where do you want this blamed thing? I can't hold it all day. While Sue is handling a spool of cable. We've got to finish in time. We've simply got to. Kurrgo enters once again as Reed is at the console for this device, which seems to deal with some sort of green gas. Only a few hours remaining, Earthling. You're just in time, Kurrgo. I've finished. Here is the thing that will save us all. This vial is filled with reducing gas. Reducing gas? What nonsense is that? And we see 2 more of Kurrgo's race enter. The Earthling has asked us to volunteer so that he may demonstrate. Watch, Kurrgo, and you'll see what nonsense this is. And Reed fires a shell from the gun he had built. Striking the wall behind the 2 volunteers, the vial of glass shatters. Within seconds, the 2 creatures from Planet X are enveloped in the thick, swirling mist until... They're gone! Reed bends down. No, Kurrgo, not gone. They've merely been reduced in size. Reduced 1,000-fold. And he holds up his palm to Kurrgo, and what does Kurrgo see?
2 of his subjects reduced down to the size of like basically ants in Reed's hand.
It. It is incredible! But of what use are such elaborate parlor tricks? How will this save Planet X? Don't you see? My reducing gas can be fired by projectiles to every part of Planet X, where it will instantly spread, covering the entire surface of your world. Within seconds, everyone whom the gas touches will be reduced 1,000-fold. This means that all 5 billion of your people will be able to fit into one spaceship. Everyone on Planet X will find safety as you fly to another world. And we see a crowd of the Planet X inhabitants get covered in this gas and then file into a spaceship, which then lands on what looks like a luscious jungle planet. And upon landing on any new planet of your choosing, you need only release another gas projectile, which will contain the antidote to the shrinking gas. And then, as the people leave the ship and walk through the mist of the antidote gas, they will speedily resume their normal size. Your problem is solved. I never thought you'd do it, pal. I gotta hand it to you. Come on, Reed. We've no time to talk. We gotta get out of here ourselves. Yes. Where is our escape rocket? You are free to return to Earth in our second rocket. Go while there is still time. And the Fantastic Four take off, but the runaway planet looms over the horizon. Hurry! It looks as though we're not a minute too soon. But even as the Fantastic Foursome races to the waiting spaceship, Planet X begins to writhe in its final death throes. What happens here, Shane?
A giant rock comes careening out of the Planet X and about to smash into the Fantastic Four.
Look out! We'll be crushed by that boulder. Nobody's getting crushed while I'm around. And Ben catches the boulder and heaves it away from himself. This is what I would have done to that walking hunk of tin if he didn't have gravity on his side. And no more do they get past the boulder than they encounter another obstacle, Shane.
Yeah, they the ground splitting between them and they have to figure out how to get across this giant gap to get over to that other spaceship.
Look, how can we cross that chasm to reach the ship? If we don't get there, we'll all be doomed along with Planet X. Only one thing to do. Let's hope I can stretch far enough. And hey, Reed does something else to add to your list.
He makes himself a bridge. He made himself a bridge in the pirate episode.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And as the team begins to run across Reed's back to get to the other side of the chasm, you did it! Let's go! Thank goodness. Within seconds, the humans reach the ship and blast off from the doomed planet. While far below, Mr. Fantastic's master plan is put into effect immediately. Reducing projectiles are fired to every section of the planet.
Boom! Boom!
And once reduced, short distance shuttle rockets bring the entire population to the remaining spaceship, their one hope for survival from the impending disaster. Meanwhile, Kurrgo, master of Planet X, grimly clutches the second projectile, the one which is said to contain the enlarging gas. Why should I share this enlarging gas with the others? I am the master. When we reach a new planet, I shall be the only one who grows back to normal size. If I keep the enlarging gas from all the others, then I shall be 1,000 times larger than they. They will be no more than insects to me. I shall truly hold power of life and death over them. And what do we see here in Kurga's wildest fantasy?
That he is full size while he left all of his subjects to be the size of basically ants.
Yeah, that's some getup he's wearing there.
Oh yeah, Emperor Kurgo now with the crown and the Santa-like robe.
Hear me, slaves, obey my every whim, or I'll destroy you with a flick of my finger. Maddened by his savage dreams of power, Kurgo lags behind the others, clutching his valuable prize as Planet X crumbles about him. I I can't let go of the enlarging gas. I can't. And Kurgo falls to the ground with the gas canister. They're about to take off. I can still make it if I run, but I'll have to leave the projectile. I'll be as small as the others. No, no, wait! Don't go! Wait for your master! And the rocket begins to take off.
And you get a nice boom as it starts to propel itself up off the planet.
Wait! I can't run to the ship. I can't leave this enlarging gas. I can't give up my dream of absolute power. Wait! Your master commands you! But Kurgo's cries are drowned out by the rocket's roar as 5 billion living beings, minus one, streak towards a new home and a new life. I am your master, don't you hear? Your master! And thousands of miles away, we see Reed and the rest of the Fantastic Four as he pilots the spaceship away from this cataclysm. Are you sure the enlarging gas will work when they reach their new planet, Reed? After all, you never had time to test it. There was no enlarging gas, Sue. It was just an empty projectile. We're going to take a moment here because that is not actually what the word balloon here says for Reed. What it actually says is what, Shane?
There was no reducing gas.
Yeah, so little mistake here on someone's part. But yeah, we know that he meant the enlarging gas.
Yeah, the editor didn't catch it.
It's kind of what happens when the editor's also the writer, huh?
I was gonna say it, but we'll not beat that dead horse.
I only told them about it so they would consent to my plan. Once they reach their new world, it won't matter. They'll all be the same size, and in this vast universe of ours, one size is only relative anyway. And so the Fantastic Four streaked back to Earth, leaving behind the most incredible adventure of all time, never to know of the ironic end of Kurrgo, the one who died for an empty dream. The end. All right, Shane. What did you think about Fantastic Four, Volume 1, Issue 7?
I thought this was a fun little romp. I like there was definitely things I had to question. Like how do they have thousands of years of technology and science ahead of us, and Reed Richards is the only one that can help them?
Yeah, that stuck out to me as well, for sure.
Then there's like the editing issues, or there was no reducing gas when we all know it was supposed to be enlarging gas. Setting off the crowd against the Fantastic Four seems like a weird thing, but it drove the story home.
At least made for a striking cover.
This It feels like the of these first seven issues, the most straightforward issue. It started with this story and ended with this story. We didn't even get like a flashback of like the transformation to the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, no, I hadn't thought about that until you brought it up just now. This is kind of an
There's
outlier as far as that's concerned.
this is like there's A plot, there's zero B plot, and it's a well-contained, fun story. If you know even a little bit of who the Fantastic Four are, you could read this at any time and you wouldn't need any other extra information thrown at you
That's very true.
because they'd let you know who Kurgo is and then they kill Kurgo so you never have to see him again.
Ah, so you think now.
Anyway, what did you think about it, buddy?
Well, I have mixed feelings on this book. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's an early issue of the Fantastic Four, so I don't feel like I can be too harsh on it. But to me, it feels kind of cookie cutter. I'm not gonna lie. If you were to take away the powers of the Fantastic Four, I think you could almost just have had this be a story in, say, Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish, Journey into Mystery, back when those
Oh,
were more or
yeah.
less monster books. And like I said, it's an early issue of the Fantastic Four, and those are the kind of books that they had been publishing for a couple years prior to Fantastic Four. So, you know, that is understandable. What part of this was really resolved by the Fantastic Four's powers? Like, yeah, you see that
Then
panel. I think it's on, I want to say it's page 20. I could be wrong. No, it's page 20. You see that panel where they are using their powers to build the machine, but I mean, really, when it comes down to it, they're on an alien world with technology further than ours. You could still have Reed standing up there asking for something while Johnny has a blowtorch welding something. Sue's unraveling that cable, and Ben's driving some alien forklift to move that piece of machinery. Really the only times that they do use their powers in this issue are when they're escaping from Congress, which also I could see a way or two that could have been done without said powers, and when they're fighting a robot in a confrontation that they fail in anyway. So literally, they could have abducted four scientists from Earth who were not superpowered and done this story in, 2 years prior in one of the monster titles that I just mentioned.
fair.
I'm not saying that I disliked it. I mean, it's a fun story. And like I said, I'm giving it some slack because it's early Fantastic Four, and they've been doing stories like that for years prior to it. So, it's in their wheelhouse really. But overall, I just think it's a little bland.
I mean, that's why they write different stories for everyone, right? Like, I didn't like the pirate reverse time thing, and you did like the pirate reverse time thing. I kind of enjoyed this story. You didn't enjoy this story.
It's not that I didn't
That's why,
enjoy it, it's just doesn't feel as exciting as other stories that
as
we've done so far.
do you want to say as fantastic? You wanted to say as fantastic.
I do try to vary my vocabulary a little bit, but we can use fantastic in this.
It doesn't seem as much as fantastic as it should be for a Fantastic Four issue. Sorry.
That's all
I'm
right.
here for the puns.
Well,
Um,
speaking of puns, do you want to hit up our four things or do you have something
yeah,
to
let's
add?
go. No, let's go be punny for a minute.
All right, so we'll start with Fantastic Frame. I think I go first this time.
Yes.
So my Fantastic Frame is the splash page on page 15. That would be my favorite panel from the issue. That is when the team is descending from the spaceship to the surface of Planet X following Kurrgo's robot. It's just a very classic Jack Kirby science fiction panel. Them riding on that anti-gravity beam. I really like the dynamic posing. You've got the alien life forms of Planet X there, so you can see the difference between them and the Fantastic Four. You get the robot and the alien architecture, which I always felt is something that Kirby just really excelled at. But yeah, I mean this is the panel that really spoke to me. Johnny's pose, like I Reed and Sue and even Ben to an extent look pretty graceful. I'm not entirely certain what's going on with Johnny here, but I like it.
I think Johnny just feels uncomfortable because he's so used to controlling his fall and his flame and like his flying that I think it just feels uncomfortable, unnaturally uncomfortable for him to be falling without having the control of the flight.
I could see that. What about you, Shane?
Ah, buddy, it's the same panel. This is the best panel in this book. This screams Kirby, like you said. There was like this design and then the satellite when the spaceship first arrives that was clearly not a Earth satellite is clearly like just a Kirby satellite design. Like I love when I can just see Kirby just do it using his imagination. This just panel just screams Jack Kirby having fun.
On that, we definitely agree. So, how about we get to a criticism here? What's your grim grumbling for this issue?
So my grim grumbling is pages 2 and 3.
Wow, whole pages.
Well, I guess it's like panel 2, there's panel 4, 5, 6. It's the whole them being afraid to go talk to Congress. Like they haven't just fought so many supervillains and did all these other things. And the last thing, they literally beat Mole Man by blowing up his island. They're like, yeah, but we can't, we can fight monsters, but talking to Congress, that's difficult.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like they talked Mole Man to death or talked their way out of Doctor Doom's time machine or talked down the Submariner. I mean, maybe they're just not public speakers, right? Like,
I mean, they bring that up. They're not public speakers, but like they're really just getting their participation trophy anyway. So they just have to show up and get given their trophy and make their move.
I don't think it's a participation trophy. I don't think those words mean what you think they mean.
I mean, it literally it doesn't they don't say anything. It literally is a
It's a
symbol of
symbol of
gratitude.
gratitude. Yes.
For what? For what? It doesn't do it's not it's a symbol of gratitude for what?
They
It
stopped
doesn't
in
even they don't even know.
they stopped a Atlantean invasion. They kept a hypnotist from terrorizing people with illusions.
They could have said that though. They didn't. They just said, "Here's your participation trophy."
Again, I don't think those words mean what you think they mean.
They are. That's your green flag. That's your green ribbon when you're in field day, so they don't make you feel bad when you're in fourth place. That's what that is.
All right. That's your justification for grim grumbling. I can't take that away from you.
So what's yours, buddy?
Page 10, panel 3.
Oh, I think I know what page. I know what
Uh,
this one is.
Yeah, it's where Ben is hiding behind, or well, yeah, I guess I could have said, 1, 2, and 3, but it comes down to Ben saying after that guy's like, "It's impossible. There's no way out of here." There is if you can lift up walls, mister. I don't think that's how walls work. Or eyes for that matter. That guy should probably go see an optometrist. I just, yeah, because you would think, there's definitely got to be debris. Hell, you see there, it looks like there's debris in panel 2 from when he pulls this trick. But nope, this guy just it's impossible. There's no way out of here. Yeah.
Yep. That wall just magically reappeared.
Yeah,
It
it
was
must be on like
magically
a
delicious.
it's just on a hinge, I guess. What's
It's
going, Ben?
it's like a garage door.
I kept and the thing was like there was other panels I definitely could have picked, but literally I just stared at this probably for a good 2 minutes. And that's when I knew I was like, this is gonna have to be my choice for Grim Grumbling because it bothered me that much. So,
Fair enough.
so let me move on here to my cosmic cliffhanger. And for that, I'm gonna go ahead and pick page 19, panel 6. And that is where Kurrgo shows Reed to his laboratory, and Reed expresses that he has an idea. And we don't quite get his laundry list on here. But I mean, we've already set up the fact that this runaway planet is far closer than initially suggested. And it really just built up the fact that I wanted to see what the solution Reed came up with was. Because obviously, Mr. Wizard here had something going on. And then we get another
Yeah.
wonderful splash page from Jack on the next page. But I was on the edge of my seat seeing what Reed was going to do.
That panel is just a beautiful panel. So I mean, I that was one that was definitely in contention for me. I went with one a little different, but I love again, that's just more of that Kirby beautiful artwork. And
And what's incredible about
sometimes you have
that, not to cut you off, what's incredible about that is that Kurgo and Mr. Fantastic are literally in silhouette here.
yeah, I was gonna get there in a second. I was gonna say like the things that they would do with depth with having such limited colors at the time is so impressive by just having that yellow background, white bottom, and then like the background, like most of it's black, but then they have like these gentle shades of blue to give you like the depth. It's just the coloring is fantastic in some of these books.
Definitely is. Shout out to Stan Goldberg for an awesome job. What was your pick for Cosmic Cliffhanger of this issue?
Page 8, panel 8.
Oh, where the Speaker of the House decides to label the Fantastic Four menaces to society?
The J. Jonah Jameson, J. Jonah
Yep.
Jameson incident. Yeah, I was really excited to see what was going to happen after that. I was like, uh, especially because the exclamation point really drove it home for me. I'm like, they're so shocked that this crap came out of his mouth right now that like they weren't expecting to have a pie thrown at their heads.
No one ever expects a pie. It's like the Spanish Inquisition.
I was gonna say this is the Spanish Inquisition. Yeah. I really just love the thing that whole thing just made me happy.
Were you disappointed with what came on the page after?
Oh, absolutely not. There was a pie thrown at their head. That's hilarious. Everybody likes a pie thrown at somebody's head.
Very true.
I'll be 90 years old and I'll still be laughing at that gag. It's a funny gag.
It's a classic. All right. So who was your MFP, most fantastic
Uh,
player for this issue?
There's only one option. I'm pretty sure we've had a lot of one options that was only Sue. This is definitely a Reed issue from start to finish. This is a Reed Richards issue. I don't even know if you can figure out how to give it someone else this one. This is Reed.
Yeah, he was also my pick as well. I mean, reducing gas for the win. Plus, I mean, even more so than the reducing gas, he helped motivate the team to overcome their insecurities and go meet with Congress, which no one ever wants to do. So, good for Reed.
Yeah, well, that's like that was what I meant. That's why I said start to finish. So like he does the thing where he lets them all have their complaints and then goes, "All right, don't care, get in the car." In his dad moment, like, listen, get in the car. Then did the thing where he's like, "All right, clearly we need to get off this planet, so let's go with the robot." Then invented a thing where he was like, "Heh, I'm gonna make a half a gas. They'll never know that they're short forever because they're gonna give us the other one so we can go home."
I think my personal favorite thing is that in order to justify them going to Congress, he's like, "How do you think I feel? I'm inventing something that's already been invented." And Ben goes and calls him out on it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's like he tried, Reed, but pretty sure that's when he had his dad moment of get in the car. He need to distract from that.
I told you guys to be in the car a half hour ago. Why aren't you there?
Well, if you're interested in checking out this story for yourself, and I mean, you could always root around in a back issue bin or check on a key wall if you want to pay at least $200 for the book. But it has been collected in a couple editions. Marvel Masterworks Fantastic Four Volume 1 from November of 1987, Essential Fantastic Four Volume 1 from November of 1998. I read this issue today out of the Fantastic Four Volume 1 Omnibus, which was published in January of 2005. There was also the reprint series Fantastic Four Adventures Volume 1, ironically enough, issue 7. You can find it in the Fantastic Four Volume 1 Epic Collection, the world's greatest comic magazine. That was first released back in April of 2021. There was also the Mighty Marvel Masterworks edition, Fantastic Four Volume 1 World's Greatest Heroes from July of 2021. And of course, this year we got a facsimile edition of Fantastic Four Volume 1 number 7 back on July 9th of 2025. It is also, of course, available on Marvel Unlimited. Shane, would you believe me if I told you that this was actually adapted into another form of media?
Is it the radio show?
It is not actually. This was adapted into an episode of the 1967 Fantastic Four animated series, episode 9, Prisoners of Planet X. I actually watched this today before we recorded. There are some slight variations, like as opposed to getting what you called a participation trophy, the Fantastic Four are actually invited to Washington, D.C., to the Science Center to get an award for their experiments on rocket fuel. It all comes together.
That would have been better than the participation trophy.
Also, there's a lot more action in that episode than there is in this book, quite frankly. A
They
lot
actually
of,
use their superpowers.
I mean, there is a lot of Ben fighting. Well, there's more than one robot. In fact, it is noted that Kurrgo it keeps control of Planet X by using multiples of these robots. It's real fun to watch Ben get tossed around for, a good 5 minutes combined by these indestructible robots. At the end of the episode, Johnny manages to drop two of them into a chasm. Kurgo attempts to betray the Fantastic Four at the end of the episode and keep them on Planet X. So, yeah, some slight differences. I would say they were all for the better. It didn't feel quite as cookie cutter as the initial plot.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Someday we'll need to do an episode that's an overview of that entire series, I think.
Okay. That's what we did say we were going to do overviews on all of them, right?
Yeah,
Each
we
one.
did at some point, yes.
Okay.
We've got a
Um,
format with our show right now, so I mean it's probably going to come on a month with the fifth week, and honestly, I think the next one of those isn't until about April. So we'll see what's going on then. Well, Shane, you want to hear what we're talking about next week?
yeah.
Any guesses?
Is this when we start Human Torch?
Yeah, this was one you picked, man. So next week we are going to be going over Human Torch Volume 3, Number 1 by Carl Kessel and Scotty Young.
Oh man.
So,
I didn't even I just knew it had a blank spot on my list. Dope.
no, this was the one that I left up to you after made you sit through four issues of Fantastic Four, one, two, three, four. So we'll be starting to do our new miniseries. And this time it'll be that 2003 series focused on Johnny Storm.
Yeah. I'm excited. Uh I've only peeked around through some of the issues, but that early 2000s art is wild, so get prepared.
All right. So, as always, listeners, your feedback is important to us. We would highly appreciate if you left us a 5-star review on Apple or a comment or review on Spotify. You can subscribe to us on your preferred listening platform so we show up in your feed each and every week. We are on Facebook at the Fantastic Four Fancast, where we encourage you to engage in FF related discussions and share Fantastic Four related content. Shane, that group's been heating up a little bit lately. We're currently at 209 members.
Yeah, and we're starting to get a nice little discussion going in there. It's kind of nice.
So, for everyone
Uh,
who's been participating in the Facebook group, we just want to issue a great big thank you. Even though Shane and I would most likely probably be doing this anyway, it is wonderful to hear that, you guys are listening and you're enjoying the show.
I
Some of
was
the
like,
feedback we have gotten is actually a friend of the show. You can find her on YouTube, Instagram. Tessa is a nerd. Actually reached out and wanted to let us know, Shane, that she really loves that we go over things that age poorly on the show.
did she?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I know we've taken this age poorly and what were they thinking, and we've combined them into grim grumbling. But it's not like we're going to stop doing that. So we're glad that you guys enjoy even when we are critical of something. Speaking of which, you can also follow us on Instagram. That is at Fan4Fancast. And that is FAN, the number four, FANCAST. And finally, you can contact us by email at fan4fancast@gmail.com. Again, that is FAN, the number four, FANCAST@gmail.com. Again, with all social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, we really would just love if you guys would follow group rules that are posted. And most importantly of those is to be respectful of other posters. Shane, do you have any final thoughts for Fantastic Four Volume 1, Number 7 this week?
I don't really think so. I'm really hoping soon we get some more stuff to add to that read list. I'm kind of getting disappointed. Our list is only at like 15. We've read a lot of books,
We have. Some of them haven't
and
even
like,
had read in them, though. So.
yeah, it's true, but like some of them had like Reed had some books where he's done a lot, and then there's others where it seems like some people just don't know what to do with Mr. Richards. Besides, I mean, using him for a brain is always great. That's why this issue is great. But like, I would like to see him do some elasticity things.
And then there are some people that I think do way too much with Reed's elasticity that shouldn't qualify. So
Oh, the head split.
yeah, that's one of them.
Well, it's more like a head split slash shoulder split. It's wild.
Yeah, but I digress. Anyway, for Shane Murray, I'm Nate Charles. Thanks again for listening. We will see you next week, and until then, stay fantastic.